This is Ryan Hunter with TechWise Academy. Today we're going to go through the steps of setting up your Windows 10 environment to be able to create Minecraft mods. There's a few steps that we're going to have to do today, and I'll walk through each of those with you. First, we're going to install and set up Java. So the underlying code for this Minecraft is Java, and you're going to want to make sure before we get started that you have Minecraft Java Edition downloaded and installed on your Windows machine. Second, we're going to install Eclipse. Eclipse is an environment that lets us modify the underlying Java code, and it makes it easier for us to do so. Third, we're going to install and configure Minecraft Forge. And then fourth, we're finally going to configure Eclipse so that the Java code that we create can be compiled and sent through the Minecraft launcher. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that. First, and all of these links are going to be in the comments below, we're going to install Java. So I like to use adopt OpenJDK, and the version that I found works the best with Minecraft modding so far, and for this version is JDK 8. So I want to click OpenJDK 8, leave the hotspot JVM Java Virtual Machine, and just click download latest release. And so that's going to download pretty quickly here. If you're using Google Chrome, you can click and open this file. And here's what shows up on your screen. And then just go through the default install settings. And you may be asked Windows settings to make those changes. And finish. So step one is complete. We've installed Java on your Windows 10 machine. That's going to let us run the code and be able to compile the code that we edit for Minecraft. Second, we're going to install Eclipse. So Eclipse is the IDE, or the integrated development environment. So that lets us to manage the packages that go along with this, and it will make it a lot cleaner looking at Java code. So if we go to the main Eclipse download page, there's an Eclipse installer, and I'm going to choose the installer for Windows. And then once this page shows up, click on this download button. And again, down in the bottom left corner of the screen, you should see the install, or the install of the executable file. Just click on this small arrow and open. It should start installing here shortly. Started on my other screen, but I will drag it over as soon as I'm able. So the options you have available are, you got several different versions of Eclipse to install, but I'm going to do the IDE for Java developers. I'll leave everything else default and click install. So it's going to go through this install process. This may take just a few moments, so I'm going to pause recording here, and then we'll jump back on once it's finished. Okay, so now the install is finished. It asks you if you want to launch Eclipse, and you can go ahead and click launch for the first time. It's going to give you some questions for your initial setup for Eclipse. You can use this is a directory to store many of your things about your development environment. I'm just going to leave that as the default and the one that it chooses for me. And it will take it just a moment to run for the first time. I've used Eclipse before on other machines, and I'm using Java code. This is probably the environment, unless it's for Android development, that I'm going to use to set that up. So I'm going to go ahead and close that out. I opened it the first time just to see what was there, but we'll configure that a little bit later. So steps 1 and 2 down, we have installed Java, we've installed Eclipse. Third, we're going to download and set up Forge on our local machine. So Minecraft Forge, the latest version of this is 1.16.4. The latest version of Minecraft per this recording is 1.16.8, but they don't have Forge set up for that just yet. So we're going to do 1.16.4. and we're going to go over to the download recommended section on the right, and then there's an MDK. I'm going to click on that. Now this is where you need to be careful because Forge has a lot of ads on this Forge download. And wait until this little skip button shows up in the top right hand corner. So there's a little countdown, and then click skip. And then the file will download as a zip file, an archive file down in the bottom of your Chrome bar. So I'm going to click on that arrow and show in folder. And for this file, I want to extract everything. So extract means take that archive and get all the files out of that and save it into a new folder on your machine. So I'm going to right click on the file itself and click extract all. This folder or this window will pop up, and I'm just going to extract and leave it exactly where it's at in the same name that it has. That's fine for what we're doing today. Okay, and this pops up. This shows you that everything extracted, and these are the files that you should see on your machine or on your Windows Explorer folder. So now that we have that extracted, we're going to configure Eclipse to be able to set everything up and run that. So I'm going to start Eclipse again. It asks if I want to launch this workspace. I'm going to. Should launch a little bit quicker this time now that it's in working memory. Okay. So in this main welcome page that we have for Eclipse, we can close this welcome tab, or we can choose this from here. But there's also a file and an import from the menu bar at the top. I'm going to file import, and I want to import a Gradle project, an existing Gradle project. That's the file that we downloaded from Forge. That's the type that it is for this project. Existing Gradle project. Next, project fruit directory. So I'm going to choose the directory where I extracted all of those files just a moment ago from my Forge download. That's in my downloads folder, Forge MDK1. And I'm going to select that top level folder, that Forge 16.4 folder, and then click finish. All the defaults will be fine. It's going to take just a moment, and it's going to import all of these project files into Eclipse for me. So setting everything up so that I can build that, and we'll talk about some common errors. I've done this several times, and I ran into a few errors along the way, so hopefully I can help you if you run into those same errors that I have along the way. Okay, so in our Eclipse workspace, I had to make sure that I could view the package explorer. For some reason it was hidden early on, and I just went and expanded that. So these are all of our project files for this particular project. It comes with a default Java file that you can modify to add some components to the game. If you click on the source main Java com.example.example.mod example.mod.java and double click that, this is an actual Java file that has some default code for you to be able to quickly start creating mods. All right, so the next thing we need to do to set up our environment is to run this Gradle task that sets everything up for us in Minecraft Forge. And this is where it's showing up on my machine now. Usually it's down here at the bottom. You'll see something that says Gradle tasks for this project, but mine's over on the right. So I'm going to click on Forge, and then FG_runs. And then if you want to see that, it says gen Eclipse run. So it's going to generate the run and build files that we need for Eclipse. So I'm going to double click that file. And there's going to be some down in the console. It's going to be working and showing you everything. One error that I did run into here, if you look on the right, it's downloading assets. I'm not sure if it'll run into it now or not, but I did have an issue where it was not able to download those assets, and I had to temporarily disable my Windows firewall and then add it back up. Windows didn't like downloading some of those files. It threw an error, and so That's one thing you can get around there if you're having issues. And there's a red X near this download assets task. But it looks like everything was successful for my project right now. And now that I've generated those run files, I want to import some configurations real quick. So file, import, run debug, and then some launch configurations. Next, from the directory, this Forge directory, select folder. If you click on it here, notice that it has some .launch configurations to import. Click finish, and it will import those into your project. Now we can get ready to start running. We're almost there now at this point. So right up here at the top, there's a play button. Let's see if I can make this a little bit larger. Maybe not. It says run Forge. I'm going to click the down arrow next to it and run configurations. And then I can look through any of these configurations for my project and change those for this particular run. So I want to go under my Java application, run client. This has some arguments set up for me. This tells me what Java runtime environment that we're using. If you already have other versions of Java on your machine, and I did on one of my machines, I was using Java 1.15, but this particular project needed 1.8 in order to run correctly. I was getting an error with a Nasho engine factory class unable to be found, and that was related to those libraries being removed from later versions of Java, but the Minecraft Forge still depends on those. So you need to make sure that you're using Java 1.8 in order to run these projects. You can look through dependencies, source, environment. Environment, you want to make sure that your MC underscore version is 1.16.4. And then click run at the bottom. It looks like I may have run into an error here. Uncaught exception, no class to found. Nashorn script engine factory. Okay, so this is related to that 1.8 version of Java. So if you run into this particular error, one way that I've found to be able to fix that is to go up in this search bar of Eclipse and go to preferences and open the preferences dialog, and then go down into Java and compiler, and there's something that says JDK compliance compiler compliance level. I'm going to change this to 1.8 and apply. And then I'm going to check a few more things real quick just to make sure that and we're going to install JREs, make sure that it's choosing the JRE that that we installed. So looks like what it's doing is it looks like it has by default maybe Eclipse had a JRE installed, so I'm going to remove the one that's here, and I'm going to add the one that I installed earlier. JRE home. C user program files. Adopt OpenJDK, JDK 8.0 hotspot. Select that folder. Finish, and that's checked. So it looked like it had something by default installed with Eclipse, but we want to make sure we get the 1.8 version that we downloaded at the very beginning of this video. We're going to apply and close that, and we're going to try to run it again. Run client. Now, the screen came up. It's talking about loading up my Minecraft mods. And you should see this. going through this process, a lot of things running on your screen, and finally Minecraft Java Edition loads up. You should see down at the bottom which version of Forge that you're running that's underneath of that, and the version of Minecraft. And so from here, you'll go through the process and you can set up and make those mods to your game. But this quick video hopefully will help solve some of the issues that you're having if you go to set up your Windows 10 environment for modding Minecraft 1.16.4. Hope this was helpful. Click like and subscribe below if it was. If you have any questions, please reach out in the comments. We'd love to answer those questions the best that we can for you. Thanks. Have a good night.